David has just released brand new music with his new album titled Child Mine, a memoir about being a young person living in a small town as he brings to life moments from his own childhood, creating a masterpiece of stripped-back alternative folk meets laid-back indie rock. We're so excited to be speaking with him today. Welcome to the show, David.
Hi, thanks. That was deep. That was generational.
Generational?
Yeah, you covered a lot of ground there.
So, we're going to be talking about your latest album, Child Mine, right?
Yeah.
So tell me a bit about it. What inspired it?
Well, the songs on it are from many different parts of my life. I think the oldest song on it I wrote in probably 2013, and the newest song was written. The song I'm playing today actually is probably the newest song on the record, which I probably wrote the week before we started finalising the mixing on the album and things like that in like 2020.
Crazy.
Yeah, I think it shows in the album. It's a bit of a coming of age tale because there's all these different parts of my life in this album. It's a very varying and diverse sort of strange collection of songs.
So you're saying it's like a coming of age tale, but what, like, maybe could you perhaps elaborate on some of the themes that the album touches on?
Sure. I think that there's childhood, there's friendships, love, the big L, off the top of my head, navigating adulthood. Almost covered as much ground as your introduction. I think I sing a little bit about my dad in there and my parents and my upbringing. Yeah, it's quite diverse.
So what like inspired you to like channel all of these thoughts into music?
I don't think I could do much else. I never found another way of expressing myself, I guess. It just seemed to be what came most easily to me. Just sitting alone with a pen and paper. I tend to write lyrics first for my songs, so I'd just be sitting there and just writing things that just be having fun with words and seeing what comes together, and maybe I'd make myself laugh or make myself feel justified or a bit sad, or like there's something beautiful that's happened, or it just helped me make sense of the world, I guess.
That makes sense. I mean, honestly, I wish I could do stuff like that. So how would you say that your new album like differs from some of your previous works, you know, with themes and musical styles?
I wouldn't say it differs much at all from my previous work. I think it's just more of a development on some things. I think in terms of how we recorded the album, it's probably a bit more advanced, whereas things I'd done before this album was just me in my bedroom playing all the instruments myself. But with this album, I got like a whole team together in a studio and the whole band and everything, and we made sure it all sounded as good as possible and as tight as possible and recorded it all very well to sort of reflect the nature of the songs a bit more, I guess.
So what was what was the production style like? Because you went from doing like kind of more bedroom style, very laid back, to like trying to produce it in a very studio controlled setting. Why would you, how was that shift like for you?
Good. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about what it takes to be a really good musician, because you think you know all these things about your instrument, about your songs and how you want things to sound, but then all of a sudden you'll get in the studio and it just doesn't go to plan. You were thinking you were going to go in there and hit everything really hard and make lots of racket, and that would translate into the recording as like this chaotic, noisy song, but actually it's just the lyrics get lost or something like that. So you have to find other ways of doing things to get the songs to come across. Whereas when you're alone in your room, you can find, you're so limited by what you can do that's sort of forced upon you anyway. But in a studio, it's just like an open book on what you can do, and you got to sort of work out how you need to do things.
What was like one of the most like, I guess, exciting things that you got to do in a studio as compared to like in your room or in like your house?
The most exciting things in the studio. Not sure. That's a good question. I think when you go back in to the control room or the mixing room after you know you've done a really good take and you're listening to a song, you're listening to a take for the first time and everyone's on the level and everyone knows that that's the one, that's the take you're going to use. That's pretty hard to describe. That feels really good.
So the environment is like kind of...
It's very wholesome. It makes it all worth it. It makes all the money you've spent and it makes all the time and energy you've put into these songs. It makes it all worth it. Just hearing it back for the first time and going, that's what I wanted. That's what I had in my head. This is the experience I wanted from this.
Okay.
And I can't wait for other people to hear this.
That's very wholesome.
Thank you.
Wholesome's a good way of putting it.
That's the goal.
Makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Good.
Would you say there were any sort of, I guess, musical influences you had when making this?
Yeah, with the first album it was Father John Misty and some Bob Dylan stuff. Who else were we thinking? Blake Mills, Lucinda Williams. Yeah, so vast. But that's about it. More the artists that had a very controlled but rowdy sound. I didn't want anything too beautiful, too nice and polished.
So you've stated in a recent interview that your single Child Mine had a upcoming performance. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, the album launch is next Thursday at the Old Bar in Fitzroy. My friend from New South Wales, Maya Marsh, is supporting, and some friends from town here, Quality Used Cars, are supporting as well, who are fantastic. They're kind of like a John Prine, Bob Dylan-y, also Australiana-esque kind of talky rock band.
Okay.
And Maya's this beautiful, introspective singer-songwriter. Really looking forward to playing at the Old Bar again, because I haven't played there in years because of the lockdowns. I used to play there like every week for like a few months. It just every gig I seemed to book seemed to be the Old Bar somehow. So I'm looking forward to that. I've got my amazing band joining me. I love them all so much.
And welcome back to 1700. We are with the incredible David M. Western chatting about his brand new album, Child Mind. So, back to questions. So tell us about the song that you're going to be performing later.
It's called Water Tank. It's a song about my hometown, all the things I love about it, and also how sometimes when I'm in the country to go home to feel good, I feel like sometimes I get a little bit of FOMO and I feel like I'm missing out, and that makes me feel bad. So it's about that. Contradiction there.
What are you FOMOing?
I originally wrote it when there was this music conference on, and a bunch of my friends got accepted into it, and I didn't. And I was like, that sucks. But I'm glad that I'm also not going, because it looks shit too. But I wanted it both ways.
I understand that. So like, is like Water Tank like a special place that you go to?
No, I just didn't know what to call the song. So, and that's one of the lyrics.
Why Water Tank then?
Because I thought it was quite a charming name for the song, and I thought it looked good as a title for the song.
It is a very nice title, I'll give you that.
It's like I said before, it's the newest song in the album, and it was kind of an afterthought for the album. I was like, I feel like I need one more song for the album, and it was kind of just thrown in there in the last minute. If it was like still the 90s or whatever, and you were releasing CDs, it would probably be like a hidden track.
I see.
But I don't know how to do that on Spotify.
I couldn't help you. I don't know how to do that either on Spotify.
Tricky. So I just called it something and then thought I'd be done with it.
It's a good name. Water Tank's a really, really nice name. So like,
Thanks.
why'd you pick it to perform tonight?
I play it at shows in the middle of the set when the band and I have been going pretty hard for about 20 minutes. And then I just plop it in the middle. I sing this song alone, and it seems to always connect quite nicely because it's a change of pace.
Okay.
And then I bring the band up again after that song, back to business as usual with the band. So I figured I'd play it tonight because it's a nice sort of simple song that I can just strum along to with my guitar, and I don't need to worry about if I'm getting the song across or not because it sort of makes sense to me to play it solo.
Do you think that it like resonates with your audience in a specific way?
I think people like easy listening, and I think that song caters to that.
Okay.
Sometimes, and it's more sometimes from my experience when I'm playing a song as well. If I'm playing a song that heavily features like parts from my band and stuff, I feel like something's missing because my band brings so much to my songs. But that's my problem.
I mean, no shame in that.
Thanks.
So I guess, like, what's it like performing live? Like, are there any highlights of like performing live that you've had?
In June, we played a residency at my favourite pub in Melbourne, the Gem. That was sensational. We played every Thursday in June, which ended up being 5 Thursdays. And we recorded 2 of the weeks to create a live album.
Okay.
That was sensational. It was really nice playing at the same place every single week for a whole month and having new people come in each week, see the music, come back the following week, bringing their friends, and the building a following there. And especially after the last 2 years, we've had this real feeling of community built around this pub, around this gig, around these people. It was such a lovely experience. I think that's been the happiest I've been playing music, and it also being around the time of me bringing out my first album. So it was a really special time.
Do you think that you're gonna like maybe recreate that in your upcoming performance?
Bloody hope so. Yeah, absolutely. Because the more we're playing, the better we're getting. So
It's true.
yeah, and I'm expanding the band as well, bringing in like keyboard, pedal steel, more harmonies and stuff. So it's just getting bigger and better, hopefully.
Why did you choose to expand it?
Because on the album we had a whole bunch of instruments on there, and then when I came to booking a show, I didn't quite have the wherewithal to organise a 6-piece band. I just wanted to keep it quite bare bones and just wait until we sorted ourselves out as a smaller unit before bringing in more people, because it's so easy in the studio to sit down and punch out a strange cello part or something, and then you know, when you get to the gig, it's not as doesn't quite happen that easily, and it doesn't make much sense to get a piano player in to play on one song. I sort of had to wait until I had it all worked out.
Welcome back to 1700. We are with David M. Western, who is about to perform his brand new single with us on our 1700 stage. But first, we are going to make him answer some of our rapid fire questions. I can't even say rapid. It's going too fast. Are you ready?
Is that one of them? No.
Well, too bad. We're going to have to start. What is your favorite artist of all time?
John Prine, thank you.
Favorite genre of music?
John Prine, singer-songwriter.
Food or drink that you have to have before a big performance?
Beer.
Beer? Okay. If you could collaborate with any music artist in the world, who would it be and why?
Rapid fire, the first thing that came to mind for some reason was Ronald McDonald. It's quick fire. I didn't have time to think about it.
That's why.
Hell of a wordsmith, that man. Go on, next question.
Okay, so best advice you want to give to a young artist starting out in the music industry? Long words.
Oh, follow your heart. Yep.
And finally, where can all of your fans contact you via social media? Please give me your actual social media.
At David M. Weston. But if you've got extra time, I knew you were going to ask me that. There's that one of like at kids getting hurt. That's great. That's awesome. Watch that.